So we started coming here about a year ago, and a little bit over a year ago, and Birmingham Revival Group has changed my life. It has just taught me how to walk in faith and to be very bold and unapologetic. And I met Brooke through it, and she ministers also with this group. Like, she's an amazing woman of God, and she's a teacher, and I just love her. So can y'all give her a beloved welcome to Miss Brooke Johns?
Thanks. Hey, how are y'all? Good? This is great. Thank you so much for having me, and Tori, thank you for letting me come and be a part of this. And I just so feel, first of all, I just kind of want to talk to you tonight, if that's okay. I so feel that God's hand is just so on this ministry, and that, you know, the Lord has been speaking to me a lot, even in the past few weeks, about how important the voice of the woman is. And I feel as though sometimes that can really get overlooked, and you don't always notice it because you grow up and you're used to it. But then when you begin to open your eyes, and like Jesus opens your eyes and shows you how important your words are and how valuable the words are that you have to say, it's so blowing my mind over the past year to see just how valuable my words are. And like that every woman is the same way. That it's not me, and it's not just Tori, and it's not just the women in this room, but just the women all over, that our words are powerful and that we are valuable. And so just kind of wanted to talk to you tonight just a little bit about the Lord's just really been doing a lot in my heart. And I've been processing a lot, and it's really interesting because, just so you know a little bit about me, I kind of grew up in church and did the whole church thing and loved the Lord, and my parents ran a ministry, and you know, I was always exposed to Holy Spirit and exposed to the presence of God, and that was not an area in my life that was very shy and that you know, was hidden. My mom and my dad tried really hard to kind of throw my sister and I into that realm of who Jesus was. So I would go to conferences, church, and super involved, and just a series of events happened, and I just very much became withdrawn and completely ran from the call of God in my life. And I said, you know what, God, if this is what you're doing, then I don't want it. And that's not for me. And no matter how much I knew that call was on my life, I ran. And I was like, I can't do it. Good try. You can find somebody else, because it's not me. Not it. Tag, not it. And so, you know, I did my own thing for a while. And then I remember specifically, nothing major happened. Nothing crazy. But one morning, I woke up, and I think it was on a Sunday morning, I woke up, and I sat up in my bed, and I just turned 21. Like, it was in May, and I turned 21 in April. And so I kind of laugh about it, and I'm like, you know, I did the whole party thing before I was 21, and it was so defiant and so rebellious. And the minute that I'm, like, legal and I can actually do it, like, without breaking the rules, I don't want to do it anymore, because it's no longer being defiant. And it's no longer, like, breaking the rules, you know. Like, I laugh about it now because I just have a pretty strong personality. And so, like, that, I wouldn't put it past me for that really to be, like, inside of my heart at that point in my life. But anyways, I just sat up in my bed, and I just said to myself, there has got to be more to life than this. And that was a defining moment. I feel like every person in this room has a defining moment. And maybe there's a lot of them. But that was such a defining moment in my life. And I said, okay, God, if you will give me friends and you will give me a community, then I'll leave everything that I'm doing. And I'll drop everyone that's in my life that isn't supposed to be there. And he so followed through, like so followed through with that. And that was a fear, like a major fear of mine. to be alone and to run away from something that I had ran towards. Because then in that moment, I was admitting that my choice was the wrong one. That was the fear. The fear of being wrong and saying, sorry, God, you were right, I was wrong. That was not in my vocabulary, in the slightest. But in that moment, I made a defining choice, and I said, yes, okay, I'm afraid, but I'm going to go. And I'm going to do it. But you have to give me something in return. God, I need this in return. Because he's not afraid of us telling him or asking him for help. In that moment, it wasn't a selfish thing to say, God, I need this from you, and I better get it. It wasn't a selfish thing. It was saying, I can do it, but I need help for me to do that. And he was so gentle with me and so open with me to do that. And it was a process. I mean, it didn't just happen overnight. And that process has continually changed. And that was a few years ago. But I feel like over the past few months, the Lord has so been dealing with me on process and what it looks like to process. And for me personally, it is very, very easy for me to process with Jesus and with the Father. It is super easy for me to process with him. For me to process with other people in my life is a struggle. And the Lord has called that out in me. And I feel like as women, sometimes, and I feel like even that I am a little different than the norm, because I feel like as women, we like to talk, and we like to process, and we like to throw things out with people, and we like to get their input in return. But what I'd like to propose to you is that sometimes we can be really, really, really great with processing with Jesus. Or we can be really, really, really great with processing with people. But you have to have both. Like, you have to have both. You have to be able to be intimate with people and to be intimate with Jesus and intimate with the Father, because they go hand in hand. The Lord made us to be together and made us as the church and created family for a reason. But he also wants us to be intimate with people. And just as we're intimate with people, we need to be able to be intimate with him. Like, I think about David, and I love David because, like, I love him. Number one, he was a worshiper, and I'm a worshiper at heart, and so I love that about David. But I also love that David screwed up a lot. And the reason I love that is because I can look at that and be like, oh, I didn't do that. You know? And it kind of gives me like this, I know that all sins are equal, like, okay, whatever, it's fine. You can believe what you want to believe. But I still love looking at David. I still love looking at him and saying, oh, Jesus, we're good. We are so good. Because if David got one thing correct, he was so intimate with the Father. Like, he could be so intimate with Jesus. And he was a worshiper. And so I take that and I think about it, and I think about how Jesus created family and how he created intimacy, and then how he created intimacy with him and the ability to do that and to be intimate with a tangible God. God is not just in the air, in the sky, looking down. Like, he gives us his tangible presence. Like, tangible. I can feel him. I have faith for it. But you can feel Jesus. Yeah. And so just that intimacy with him, I just so encourage you to be intimate with people. And this community is amazing to be intimate with. It is set up for that specifically. Tori has created a place specifically, and her dream team specifically for you to have a place to be intimate with people. And then when you do that, also be intimate with Jesus, because he's not afraid of your mess. And he's not afraid of your problems. And he's not afraid of anything that you have to offer him. Because he's a big God. And he can totally handle it. I look at, I like to use the Message Bible just because it is super easy for me to read. And growing up, I had a really hard time comprehending things, which is funny because I'm a teacher now in 2nd grade, and I teach kids to comprehend reading every day. And so I kind of am like, okay, well, why couldn't I? But, now I can. And it makes life a lot easier that you understand what you're actually reading. But I like to read the Message because I feel like it puts in my own language. And so I just wanted to say something to you from the Message Bible, and it's Matthew 11, and it's 27, and you know how the Message, it groups verses together, okay, so it's a little confusing, I get it, but it's around 27 to 30, I think. And you totally don't have to turn there. I promise I will read what it actually says. It just talks about, okay, so it just says, Jesus resumed, and he's talking with the people, and he's talking to them tenderly. And a little bit before this, he had gotten a little mad, and he was not too excited with the people. And now, he is talking tenderly to them. He had just kind of told them about John the Baptizer, and had talked about what he carried. We're going to carry so much more. And anyway, so he looks and he resumes, and he's talking to the people, and now tenderly, and he says, "The Father has given me all of these things to do and say." This is a unique Father-Son operation coming out of the Father in Son intimacies and knowledge. No one knows the Son the way the Father does, nor the Father the way the Son does. But I am not keeping it to myself. I'm ready to go over it line by line with anyone willing to listen. So I'm going to say that again, but I'm going to take out the word son, and I'm going to replace it with daughter. Although we're sons too, but we just, I don't really like to be called a son. The Father has given me all these things to do and say. This is a unique father-daughter operation, coming out of the father and daughter intimacies and knowledge. No one knows the daughter the way the father does, nor the father the way the daughter does. But I am not going to keep it to myself, he says. He says, I'm willing to share it with whoever wants to listen, line by line. I'm going to map it out for you. And Jesus is such an example for us and how to live this life on earth, because he did it. He's such an example for us to for us to follow. And he then goes on to say, are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. That's the life that the Father has for you. Jesus so gave us an example there of what the Father desired for him as a son. That's an example of what the Father desires for you as a daughter. I think about the leper, the story about the leper, and I heard someone talking about it the other day, and it so struck in me a chord. And a lot of what he said was the guy that was sharing about the leper was so true, and it struck my heart so profoundly. And it's in Matthew 8, and it says that Jesus came down from the mountain with cheers of the crowd, singing, rising his ears, and a leper appeared. And he went to his knees before Jesus, praying, Master, if you want to, you can heal my body. If you want to, you can heal me. And in that moment, the leper knew. The leper already knew that Jesus could heal him. He'd already seen it. He'd heard about it. He knew. What he was really, I think, saying was, I know that you can do this, but are you willing? Is your heart for me? Is your heart for me enough that you will do it? Because I don't think the leper really had any doubts that he could. I think he was trying to make sure with Jesus that Jesus was for him enough to do it. And then Jesus replies and he says, Jesus reached out and touched him, saying, I want to be clean. So he's saying, like, I totally want to do that for you. I have a desire to do that for you. And in being intimate with Jesus, he will continually over and over and over tell you about his desire to heal you, and his desire to love you, and his desire to be after you, because his heart is so for you. It's not against you. It never has been. It never will be. His heart is so for you. I feel like that a lot of people look into just the intimate, or look into, you know, what they think they know about the Father, what they think that they know about Jesus. But at the end of the day, all we have to remember is that his heart is for us. You know, there's sometimes that I'll step back and I'll say, Jesus, that dream is like way big. Like real big. Like maybe that's just me. Maybe I should like tone that one down a little bit because I think that's flesh, like totally me. Brooke wants this, so we're going to do this. And then I come to the realization that his dreams for me are way bigger than my dreams for me ever could be. And his heart is for me. And I'm valued. And you are valued. And his heart is for you. So your dreams, even if it's your dreams, you don't even come close to his dreams for you. Like if you're stepping back and there's like a family situation or a relationship or a job or any obstacle that's standing in your way. And you're like, well, maybe this just isn't the will of God. Or maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't really know, Jesus. Maybe this isn't your will. His dreams for you are way bigger than your dreams for you. And us stepping in the way and saying, maybe this isn't really what you want. He cares about your situations way more than you care about them. And I had to step into that light of saying, in situations, okay, I'm flustered and I'm upset and this did not go the way I wanted it to go. I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm hurt. And I want you to know. Jesus, I want you to know, because I'm being intimate with you and I'm processing with you because you're not afraid of my mess. I want you to know that I'm upset and that hurt me. And the Lord is saying to me, it's okay, Brooke. Just rest in me and rest in this moment. Because I care about this situation way more than you care about it. Process this with me. Let's walk through this. I care about this way more than you do. And it's coming to that realization that, like, he's real and he cares. I felt like I wasn't sure if I was going to share this tonight. But when I'm going to, because I feel like that it's such an important thing for us to understand and such an important thing for us to know. Just in my life personally, when I was 15, my dad actually passed away from cancer. And so for us, that was like a crazy thing in my family. I mean, we were in the church. My mom and dad ran a healing ministry. I grew up seeing people get healed. That was what, I just did. And so for me, that was, and my mom even, that was kind of like a slap in the face. My sister, somehow she just like dealt with it so great, but now I realize it's because she was always intimate with God. My mom was too, and I loved the Lord. But it was just a really hard moment. And so what I did, instead of processing and dealing, I buried. and I took it, and I pushed it down, and I buried it. And I did that for years. And I didn't actually deal with it until I'm 25 now, and I think it was about 22 that I started to bring it up out of the ground of my heart. And I say that not for a pity party, but I say that to let you know that it's better to deal with your mess and be intimate with Jesus the minute that it happens than it is to bury it for years and bring it back up. And if you have buried it, now's the time. Yeah. Now's the time to process and say, you know what, Lord, I'm going to be intimate with you. Because let me tell you, he is so sweet. There's been a few instances over the past few months that my heart has been so hurt. But the Lord has been so sweet to me. Because through that process with my dad, when I finally brought it up to the light, and I took time to deal with it, and I took time to process, it was like these things that hurt me, I could deal with really quickly in the past few months because I was like, oh, I know how to do this. I've already practiced this. Like, I know how to do this. I used to be super great with saying, you know, it's fine. I'd get hurt, and I'd bury it, and I'd say, not your problem, it's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about it. That was really mean, and it's totally your fault, but I'm fine. I'm so fine. Because I feel like it's even a Southern thing of just saying, like, oh, I can't be hurt. No one can see that I'm not okay. Because I need everybody to see that I'm good. Yeah. And that I'm fitting in this box that I'm supposed to fit into as a woman. And I'm not dramatic, and I'm not upset. My feelings aren't hurt. I'm okay. I'm fine. And I'm coming to this place to realize that that was super unhealthy. And the Lord is bringing me to this place of becoming healthy. But it's a process. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and everything's going to be great. It's a process that he's bringing me gently into. So I just encourage you to know that it's fine to process with the Father. Because that's what he's there for. Be intimate with him. It's fine to process with people. Find someone that you can be intimate with. Because that's what family is for. That's why God created family. And don't be afraid of the process. Don't be fearful to walk into that process. Because it's really, really healthy. And it's okay if you're not fine. It's fine. It's okay to not be put together and fine. It's okay to be a mess because Jesus can handle our mess. If it's okay with y'all, I just want to pray for a moment. And if everybody, you don't have to, but if you will, just kind of hold out your hands. And I just want you to close your eyes. And I just want you to totally focus on the Father and focus on Holy Spirit and focus on Jesus as a friend and God as a father. And just kind of push everything else to the side. And I just want you to ask yourself, just ask Jesus, Jesus, what do you think about me? Lord, what do you think about me?